Idiot. Harry dealt a painful blow as Dan Wootton fiercely strikes back his quitting job claim. Royal expert Dan Wootton just wrote a commentary for the Daily Mail over Prince Harry's latest advice. He stated, "Has there ever been a more sickening illustration of a member of the royal family being so woefully out of touch with the lives of ordinary people? The king of hypocrisy Prince Harry, a man paid tens of millions for doing sweet hit a woke new low today by brazenly advising mere mortals stuck in jobs that don't bring them joy to quit. That's right, just 3 weeks before Christmas, if you're not enjoying work, you should pack it in, walk out, tell the boss to get stuffed." Presumably, that's pretty easy to say for a bloke who was bankrolled by a rich daddy, has a £30 million inheritance tucked away in the bank and is now raking it in from US media giants after turning on his own family. Harry has never experienced the fear felt by millions of Brits every day who work a multitude of jobs they don't necessarily like very much to be able to put food on the table for their family and keep a roof over their head. He was speaking in his job as Chief Impact Officer with San Francisco-based, uber-woke £4 billion executive coaching business BetterUp. Which is especially ironic because, let me assure you, being a Chief Impact Officer is not a real job. Rather, it's a fake role created for politically correct companies with more money than sense to get a celebrity on the books to impress investors. In other words, holier than thou Harry, the man who hung his father out to dry for his connections to a rich Saudi looking for an honor, is an expensive hired mouthpiece for another bunch of Silicon Valley snake oil salesmen. Harry, who isn't intellectually gifted, is already hiding behind Californian mumbo-jumbo with great aplomb. His advice stinks to high heaven and is actually deeply irresponsible and reckless. Surely the worst possible thing for someone's mental health is being left without the money to support themselves or their family. But, as someone who has never had to grapple with overdrafts, unpaid credit cards or unexpected bills, that's a stress Harry can't even imagine. Is he really suggesting folk should give up a job without any emergency savings or the prospect of securing work that might make them happier? Does he really think signing up to the dole is a ticket to improved self-esteem? It certainly wasn't him as he skated through his education without the need for a Saturday or part-time job. Besides, many of the folk in my life who are the happiest overall absolutely despise their job. In these cases it can actually end up being a positive thing because they work to live rather than live to work. They all have an acute awareness that their professional pursuits, tiresome or boring or stressful that they are to fund their personal and family lives, which is what truly brings them joy. It's telling that many lotto winners end up returning to a job they worked before finding unexpected riches because they soon discover it's a routine that keeps the rest of their life anchored. But Harry doesn't understand any of that. These days, he earns his crust by naively pushing Californian propaganda on behalf of tech giants like Spotify, massive streaming companies like Netflix and even a bank called Ethic that all want to look socially responsible, even though many of their business practices leave much to be desired. To hell with the consequences of how it makes ordinary people struggling to get by feel. Perhaps the greatest contrast is with his brother Prince William, a man who has always refused to quit no matter how tough things get for the sake of the greater good and his country. The Duke of Cambridge acknowledges that his life of great privilege, including no need to ever worry about money, comes with real sacrifice. Snowflake Harry is the pin-up for the woke generation who believe the answer to every problem is crying discrimination and packing the whole thing in instead of bothering to stick it out for the greater good. Instead